Welcome back to the Nasty Metal Productions channel here at YouTube. And of course we're here for a album review. And it's for the newest album by Helstar, titled Vampiro, which just dropped today. So, of course I talked about this band during USPM in a month, talking about the first 4 albums, which included classics such as Remnants of War, A Distant Thunder, and Nosferatu. Now, this is definitely their album since 2014's The Wicked Nest, and it was the last album to be on AFM Records. Here, they are signed with David Ellefson's record label, Ellefson Music Productions. The guy doesn't need any introduction. You know who the guy is. He has done work with Helstar before, producing some tracks off the 1995 Multiples of Black album. So, cool. And also, we also see the return of Bill Matroyer, which the last thing he had produced by him was the Sin of the Past album, which was actually a collection of re-recorded material off the first 4 Helstar albums. So here he's mixing the stuff, and yeah. And of course this album also sees 2 new members, guitarist Andrew Atwood and Garrick Smith. And Garrick Smith being the bass player. But this is also the 3rd album for drummer Michael Lewis, who debuted on Glory of Chaos, which was released in 2010. So what can you expect from this album? This is, of course, Helstar. And the sound is, while it's definitely still kind of more thrashy sounding, like I guess in some of the past releases, but this sound tends to go more closer to that 80s sound. At times kind of reminded me a little bit of a mixture of Remnants of War and A Distant Thunder. And it's something that I'm comparing the sound to A Distant Thunder, since that album was the first thing produced by Bill Matroyer. But at times there's also a little bit of that Nosferatu sound, and since the album is titled Vampiro, it's definitely going back to that sort of lyricism that was presented on Nosferatu. Definitely more about vampires and shit like that. But the music here is definitely more closer to that power metal sound. But the album starts off with Awaken unto Death. Awaken unto Darkness. Can't always be perfect in my videos. But the song definitely kicks off the album. It's definitely kind of, the way it starts, a little atmospheric, with a little bit of acousticness before it goes into the song itself. Kind of slow, but then it ends up building to a fast-paced track, then ending on a very atmospheric note. Definitely a good track. Bloodlust ends up being the 2nd track. And definitely, here we are, really back to that classic sound. And then, To Dust You Will Become. A song that really gave me a little bit more of that Remnants of War, Distant Thunder type of riffage. Just classic. And then we also have to talk about the instrumental that's titled Malediction. The way it starts off, a little atmospheric, but definitely turns into a little bit of a thrasher here and there, but it's definitely a good track. Then, of course, here we got Black Cathedral, which, of course, was the release as a single before the album was ever released. I think back in June it was. Killer track. Definitely at times also reminds me a little bit of that Remnants of War, A Distant Thunder type of sound. The whole album's definitely kind of chock full of a little bit of that. It's definitely going to give you, at times, you know, nostalgic feelings for those early Helstar albums. But then let's also talk about the last track on there, which is titled Dreamless Sleep. It's around 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes, and it's a very kind of atmospheric as well. Kind of started, you know, with kind of acoustic here and there, but also throwing in some cello and violin here and there, and it definitely gives it a little bit of its own. It's a very emotional track, and just ends the album in a very emotional fashion. Overall, this is a solid album. This is definitely, I'd say, worth the listen. And if you are a Helstar fan, this wouldn't disappoint you. But let me definitely get to my rating. So, how do I rate this? 8.7 out of 10. To me, while it's definitely not as strong of an album, but at least does its job. If anything, this is probably the most classic sounding album since the 80s material. Just a classic album as well, and it definitely mixes a little bit of their modern touches. So, there you have it. Just a good album by Helstar. And James Rivera was definitely in tip-top shape on this album. So, if you haven't heard this album yet, I definitely say I recommend this. So, it's time to get to the next video, and by the shirt that I'm wearing should give you hints on what the next video will be. Catch you later.